Hey guys, Rich from Unichip Australia. Today I'm going to be talking you through the install procedure of the plug and play Unichip to suit your 300 Series Landcruiser. Okay, so the first thing you're going to do is familiarise yourself with everything you've received. So of course you've got the plug and play harness, the bracket to hold the plug and play harness, the Unichip itself, and the bracket for the Unichip. Some basic tools you're going to need for the job is a Phillips and a flat screwdriver, a 10, 7 and 8 mil socket. Spanners will also work well. And if you've got one, a trim removal tool, although a flat screwdriver will work just as well. Okay, so for the first part of the video, what we're going to do is focus on what needs to be removed. So of course the battery cover needs to come off. We're going to disconnect the negative side of the battery and we're going to proceed to remove the airbox. Okay, with a 10 mil socket, undo the 10 mil bolt in the middle of the battery clamp, the negative battery clamp. Lift that off. Can be a little bit tight, so you do need to swing it side to side. Beautiful. Make sure that doesn't come in contact with the battery. Pop a rag underneath it just to stop that from happening. Okay, with the battery off, we're going to move to taking the airbox off. First thing you need to do is remove the airflow meter. The airflow meter has a little clip on the back of the plug. Push that down, pull the airflow meter back. Now there's two black clips that hold the loom to the airbox. They both need to be undone as well. Into the corner of the clip, twist the clip away, and the top of the clip will pop up, freeing up the harness. Using a 10 mil socket, undo the hose clamp on the intake pipe closest to the engine. Okay, expect this hose to be quite tight. Give it a couple of twists, it'll come away. There's no bolts or anything that hold the airbox down, so the airbox just simply lifts up. Remove the airbox from the car. From here, you're going to want to remove the factory ECU from the car completely. This is where you need a trim tool or a flat screwdriver. You'll notice there's two plugs that are part of the ECU bracket. Use your trim tool underneath these plugs to pop up the trims. Using a 10 mil socket again, undo the two 10 mil bolts that are holding down the factory ECU. Okay, once you've undone those two 10 mil bolts, there's one more clip towards the front next to the radiator here, and one more 10 mil bolt tucked underneath. Okay, from here we're going to undo the factory ECU harness. You need to take this little retainer off first. There's two plastic clips on the side that push outwards. That'll lift this off completely. Now we're going to undo the factory plugs. Starting on this one here, there's a little grey tab on the back. Push that down, slide the plug forward, the lever forward, remove that plug. Exactly the same again on the middle plug, little grey clip with the lever, pop that one off. The last one is a black locking tab in front of the lever. Push that down, lever back, plug off, ECU out. From here, the easiest thing to do is to fit the Unichip harness bracket. Now, to give you an idea, these two holes here are going to mount to the two 8 mil bolts on the back of the factory ECU. Okay, on the back of the ECU, you need to undo these four 8 mil bolts in order to mount the Unichip bracket. Now going to mount the Unichip bracket to the ECU. The easiest way to do it is just open up a touch up, flicks over the sides. You'll notice that it's got the keyway cut out for the two studs, locating studs on the ECU itself. From there, you're just going to reposition the factory brackets over the top and refit the bolts that we just took out. Okay, so now that you've got the block bracket mounted, you're going to the plug and play block inside the bracket, push it all the way down, just keep the ribbons out of the way. Now it'll go below the height of these Allen keys, so the Allen keys on the side can be used to lock it into place. So push it down, 4 mil Allen key, tighten up the sides. So we're tightening the Allen key so that it holds a plug and play harness into the bracket like so. You don't need to lock the Allen keys right out, just enough to hold. Okay, now you've got the Unichip block mounted into the bracket. We're going to install the Unichip plugs to the factory ECU. Starting at the largest plug on the right hand side, place it over the top of the ECU. Don't force it down. The last thing you want is to bend a pin on the factory ECU. That'll be catastrophic. Sit it in place, gently roll the levers forward, lock it down into place. Do that with all three of the plugs. You'll notice that the last plug is a little bit tight and a little bit tricky, but just keep a little bit of firm pressure on it, keep it square, and it will line up and it will push down and lock into place. So if this is what the product is that you've got at the moment, it's ready to refit back into the car. Refitting it back to the car is a simple process of doing the exact opposite to what you did to take it out. Righto, so before bolting the ECU bracket back down, Fit the ECU plugs, the factory ECU plugs to the Unichip block. Start at the big one at the back, over the top of the Unichip block. Again, lever forward, make sure it stays nice and square. Same again with the smaller plug in front of that. And then from here, you can re-clip that U-shaped bracket that was holding the harness down. Using the 10mm socket, refit the 3 ECU bracket bolts. Before clipping in the final plug, don't forget to put all of the factory clips back in to hold the harness down. The last plug up now. Factory ECU plug plugs into the injector block. Same as before, lock it down nice and square. From here to mount it, we're going to undo the inner bolt on this radiator support here. Use a 12mm spanner. Now you've been supplied with an M8 Unbreako bolt and a spacer. It's very important that you only use the bolt that's been supplied. It's designed and measured to a specific length so that it doesn't rest pressure against the radiator itself. On the Unichip block, go through the inner bolt hole, fit the spacer, and then that then fits up against the radiator support bolt that you removed. Using a 6mm Allen key, tighten up that bolt. As it starts to tighten up and pull in, straighten up the block itself and then finish tightening it up. You'll notice that on the back side, where the nut is on the radiator, that the bolt comes through but doesn't press up against the radiator. Unichip wiring's out the way, just throw it next to the battery for now. That's going to run underneath the air intake from the airbox. We're going to refit the factory airbox. The airbox itself is held in by 3 rubber grommets. They line up with these 3 posts on the body of the Landcruiser. To refit it, the back side of it's got an intake snorkel. That's going to sit back inside. That will help you line up the 3 grommets. Slide your air intake tube back on and push down on the airbox to lock it into place. Tighten up that clamp that we undid earlier. Refit the airflow meter. Plug that back in and lock down those plastic clips again. Get the Unichip up now. So what you're going to do is locate this relay fuse box here. On the back side of it, there is a factory 10mm bolt. We're going to remove that. Okay, grab the Unichip bracket that's been supplied as well as the Unichip. Now this bracket is going to take the place of that 10mm bolt we've removed from the fuse box. Unichip's going to sit on the back of it that way there, so bracket facing away. Use the supplied M4 bolt and nuts to secure the Unichip to the bracket.
Thank you.
Okay, inside your stubby holder there'll be a Ziploc bag. That Ziploc bag contains a couple of Allen keys and some small screws as well as a sachet of grease. Place the grease inside the Unichip plugs and then we're going to fit the Unichip to the harness. Okay, there's 2 different plugs on the Unichip. One is larger than the other, so they'll only fit one way, but you'll notice that they cross over under the lid. So the one on the left actually plugs into the plug on the right of the Unichip and vice versa. Once those 2 plugs are in and locked down solidly, lid will come down over the top and use the Allen keys and the screws supplied to secure the lid to the Unichip. Okay, using the 10mm bolt we removed from the relay and fuse box before, that's what we're going to use to mount the Unichip to the vehicle. Tuck the excess harness inside the battery tray, refit your negative earth terminal, refit the cover, and you're good to go. So your Unichip has come pre-programmed with a single tune on it, meaning that that tune is the same in all your drive modes, no matter what you've selected inside the car. For further optimization, you can have it custom dyno tune, which means unlocking CAN bus map selection, which unlocks 3 separate tunes inside the Unichip that are then selected using the mode select switch inside the car.